My bad, everybody. Welcome to the show. It's your girl Samantha Lee. What's up, everyone? Everyone. Let me get this closer to me. Ooh. What's up, everyone? Everybody, how everybody is doing? Let me make sure the camera's right. Welcome, everybody. It's your girl Samantha Lee. What's up? What's going on? Well, happy Wednesday. Lord, I had to say that slowly because I forgot it was Wednesday. What's up? What's up, family? Let me say hi to everybody in the chat. Seeing Nate for life. I'm seeing Jason's in the chat. What's up, Jason? I'm seeing Pam. Thank you, ma'am. I'm seeing Street Juice. Street Juice said, "Love you, Sam. You're the nicest woman I know. I admire you." Thank you, Lorenzo. I'm here. What's up? Day was good. I hope. Zoe. Thank you, Zoe. I appreciate you. Tommy Overalls. What's going on, Tommy? Frederick says, "I love your passion. God is Queen vibes." Proverbs 31. Thank you so much. Travelac says, "What's up? What's up, Trav? How you doing?" Pam says, "Hair looking good." Thank you, Pam. I did myself. Big shout out to Smith Leishman. A1 says day one, period. Thank you. Rodney Rather say happy Mother's Day, Smith Lee. Thank y'all. Thank you guys. I appreciate that. How am I? I'm doing all right. Thank you so much. What's up, Michael? What's going on, everybody in the chat? Let me go ahead and add the our TikTok family. I have not yet added them to this live, so let me make sure I get that going. Irrapidamente. Okay, so let me do this. TikTok. Anyway, y'all, great to see everybody. I don't know what that was. Ooh, hello. All right. Okay. So anyway, you guys, as I set up this TikTok, oh, geez, Louise, hold on. Let's get it going. And then I'm gonna get started with the live. Thank you guys for your patience. As I speak more about like godly topics, I really try to worship and get into the right headspace before I get on, because I don't take this lightly. I don't take this lightly at all. So I'm going live on TikTok. But what's up, everybody? Welcome, everybody's TikTok family's now in. So let's get into it, family. If you guys don't know already, my name is Samantha Lee. I am blessed to have a platform on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. I am a therapist by trade, but you guys know me as a full-time content creator as well. I really do appreciate the platforms that I've been blessed with, and I really do try to speak out. As you know, a lot of you guys know that earlier this year, I felt like God was calling me to not be a therapist that sometimes references God, but be a woman of God that happens to be a therapist. And so you will notice in my content, everything I talk about, I try to give glory and honor to Him through the things that He gives me. I tell you again, y'all, I'm not a perfect person. I'm not like Mother Teresa or anything like that. I'm a woman who loves Jesus, and I'm on a journey. And I feel like instead of me pretending and perpetrating like I got it all together, I feel like there's way more strength in me acknowledging that I don't. And sharing with you guys my journey. If you guys have watched my More Than Just Pretty podcast, you'll know that I am sharing openly the things that God is teaching me through this process. So that is me in a nutshell. Okay, so tonight's live is the number one sign you're in a wilderness season and how to win it. And so I want to give you guys some like fundamental things, because as I've stated before, y'all, I've definitely felt like in this situation, I have 100% felt like I'm in a wilderness season. Okay. And I found that I was in a wilderness season by a few points. And I think that let me not jump ahead. I found out that I was in a wilderness season, and it started with a promise. Okay. So I want you guys to know how God works and what He does. You'll see this in the Bible over and over again. He starts with a promise. So The Israelites, when they were leaving Egypt, the promise he made is that I'm leading you to a land filled with milk and honey, right? He started with a promise, and that started their relationship. There was another person in the Bible, Abraham. He said, "You be the father of many nations," right? So he's like, listen, it starts with David was king. Joseph was going to be, he knew that his brothers would be bowing down to him one day. Again, most of the journeys that you see, they start with a promise. And I still think that that's true. There are things that God has shown me about myself in the beginning of this journey that I did not see for myself. Okay. I did not think that that was possible for me, if I'm being very honest with you. And so it starts with a promise. Once you have agreed or said, I want that too, you now partner with God and you start a process. This is one of the biggest things I want you guys to know about this process. And I actually want to answer a question that just came to mind. I really do want to answer. So I'm asking God to really, Holy Spirit, be with me during the slide, please. Give me the words to speak. I want to answer a question that came to me or came to one of my posts before. And I'm gonna get into that, and then I'll get into the rest of this. But God's process always starts with a promise. And so for my issue here with a lot of people, okay, is that they're like, oh, God promised me a husband. God promised me a wife. God promised me $1 million. God promised me this. God promised me I'm going to be this person, that person. Okay. Did you do a process? Because the second part to promise is process. Process is usually not what you want. The wilderness season, when you are indoctrinated, it first starts with an agreement to the promise. Oh, God, I want that too. Oh, God, that's also, you have a marriage with that person. For me, oh, I'm in. I'm in. I'm a little busy right now. I got things I got to do, but I like that promise, God. Hold that. Hold that. Hold it, God. I'll be back. I just got to do some work. I got to do this. And God's like, no, not so fast, beloved. Not so fast. You like that promise. You've agreed to the promise. Now starts the process. And whether you like it or not, whether you like how he does it or not, I say to everybody, if God is sitting you down, sit down, because if not, he's going to make you sit down. He's going to make you sit down, family. I know firsthand. All too well. He is going to force you. And that's not punishment. Don't look at it like that. It's, I want you. And if you're not willing, if you're saying you a child of God and you saying that you desire these things, I need for you to take my hand. I need you to do this with me. And anything that gets in the way of me and you, I'm taking away because you've already agreed to the promise, right? So don't opt out of that process. God's process is the best process. And he's honestly trying to get you to the next level. Okay, so do not fight process. Before I get into the rest of this, this topic, which like I said, number one first is promise. So something God, you and God know you want. And God's like, okay. It does look good, don't it? Sound good too, don't it? All right. Let's get into process. Because I know you right now is not ready for what you're praying for. That's what God is saying. God is saying, listen, I'm saying you're going to be Abraham, you're going to be the father of many nations. David, you're going to be a king. Joseph, you're going to be second in command. But I'm aware that the character that you have right now will not sustain the role that I'm calling you to. I'm aware that the version of you that got this promise is not the version of you that's going to sustain this process. He met Gideon in a wine press. He said, you can do this, mighty warrior. God is with you, mighty warrior. He's like, I'm not a mighty warrior. I'm over here. I'm in the threshing floor hiding from my enemies. I'm not mighty. I'm not courageous at all. God said, but I see something in you that you don't even see. I see a husband in you. I see a father in you. I see a legacy builder in you. I see a generational curse breaker in you. I see a household name in you. I see a millionaire in you. I see a billionaire in you. I see I I see these things in you. I see a leader in you. I see you being, you're not only going to do this for your family as far as generational curse breaking, but you're doing it for a whole generation of people. I'm calling you. But I also understand that in order for me to get that from you, you've got to surrender to a process. And this family is where we fall short. This is where we fall short because we do not surrender the process. And if we do not surrender the process, we do not get to promise. Okay? And so some of you guys, you may be feeling like God is taking everything away from you. All these doors are closing. Different things are happening. God is forcing you into a process. It is not to hurt you. It is to get you to wake up and understand that this life is much bigger than what you've been, the way that you've been treating life, what you've been valuing the most is not the most important thing. That's what God is saying. Whatever you've been prioritizing is not the most important thing. Like you're living this life and everything's dictated off of that. But that's actually not, that's not what I created you to do. That's not where your purpose stops. Your purpose doesn't stop with where you were, what you're paid to do. That's not what purpose is. Purpose is what you were created to do. Work is what you're paid to do. Purpose is what you were created to do. And if you don't go through this process, you don't reach purpose and you don't reach promise. All right? We all have to go through process. That's not a bad thing. That is not something you should take with contempt or any type of energy. God normally, in order to get our attention, sometimes has to up the ante. And in that upping of the ante, he changes us. And the Bible talks about how the heat is turned up, all the impurities rise to the surface, and he wipes it off the top. That is the process. It's likened to gold. And if you heat up gold, to purify gold, you have to heat it up. All the impurities rise to the surface. And God just wipes it off the top. And they keep doing this. They keep reheating it up. Purities rise to the surface. Take it off the top. Keep heating it up until the person that's cleaning or purifying the gold can see their reflection in it. That is the same way that this wilderness season is. Is God turning up the heat intentionally to see what comes out of you. That's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. Because whatever comes up to the surface, God, all he requires for you, all he requires from you is surrender. Not for you to get it right, not for you to change you. Is to say, God, I didn't even know I'm still dealing with that. Anger, yeah, I'm still dealing with that. Impatience, yeah, I'm still dealing with that. That core wound of rejection, yeah, I'm still dealing with that. He's not asking you to change it. He's asking for you to give it to him. Because gold didn't change itself. The impurities rise to the top, and the person that was cleaning it just wiped it off. That is what God wants to do. God wants to wipe those things off the top. That's the point. That's why our process of purification and sanctification is likened to heat. Is likened to gold being heat up or heating up, whatever the case may be. Okay. So before I get into the rest of this, there was a question that was asked, and I want to go into this. I want to go into this in a different way. Okay. I want you guys to hear me out and hear me clearly. Somebody asked me, if I'm dating a woman or I'm seeing a woman or talking to a woman or interested in a woman that seems like she's way further than me spiritually. Like I feel like I'm baby Christian, she like a mature Christian. And I'm feeling this disparity and I don't really know what to do with that because I'm supposed to lead her, right? How am I, as a Christian that may not be as far along in the faith as this woman, how am I to lead her? How does that work? What do we do with that? I think it's a great question, right? I think it's a great question. I don't personally believe This is my own personal belief. I do not personally believe that one gender has to be further along than the other. I don't. I think that there can be the biggest thing for me is, do we agree? Do we agree that this is what we believe? It starts with agreement. How can two walk together if they do not agree? So it's like, okay, you may not be, now some women want to be led and want to be with a man that's on a further level. That's fine. That's not necessarily my conviction. My conviction is it a man that worships the same God I worship and is tied and has the same convictions I have? That's where I'm at with it. But I don't need somebody who's further along than me. Right? So again, I think that with that being said, if a man's listening to the Holy Spirit and I'm listening to the Holy Spirit, I have also read in the Bible where the Holy Spirit can talk through a donkey. He can talk through anything. He can talk through a wind. He can talk through, he's not limited. So for me personally, why can't a man that is walking with God lead me? If he's walking with God, he's surrendering his flesh, he's trying to walk this walk. Why do I feel like because I have more time and I'm better than him, I'm not? Why do I feel like because I might know more Bible verses, that who's to say he don't know more about different things? God can do things overnight. I could have spent more time, but in a short amount of time, he could outrun me in this race. So to me personally, I don't feel like because somebody is right now in this place, I should judge them or anything. Like, do we agree? Are you trying to walk the walk? That's a big problem. That's a big thing. Now I'm a Christian. I love God. No. Are you walking a walk? Are you convicted to walk the walk I'm walking? If you are, cool. If you're not, because I don't buy the fact that, because I've had people that tell me all the time, like they tell me things. And I'm like, wait, hold on. If you're telling me things, you may not be reading your Bible, but there's people that may not feel like they're in the same place with me spiritually, but I can hear the Holy Spirit from them. Like God can speak through them. They have the same, they're growing in the same way. So somebody said tonight, is that equally yoked? Yes. Because equally yoked, if you read the equally yoked chapter, which really, I feel like people get this wrong all the time. Equally yoked was about two people working together. And it was talking about whether it was a donkey or an ox, because they were yoked up. That's what they would do. They would yoke oxen together, or whatever. Donkeys, not really donkeys, because donkeys were stubborn. Well, anyway, he was like, how can two walk together? They don't agree. If we're not walking the same walk, if you're walking with a donkey, meaning somebody who's stubborn and is unwilling to move forward in their faith, or somebody who's an ox who is disciplined and wanting to move forward in their faith, then at the end of the day, if we're both ox, meaning we're both wanting to be disciplined, whether we're both wanting to be aligned with God, then we're in alignment. We're moving in the same direction. Who am I to say that I'm further, he's further? I might know more, but I could teach him something in a month and he's further along than me. So again, it's not about so much, oh, I pray more than you, I'm in the Bible more than you. It's not a competition, family. It's your own personal walk with God. And if a man is walking with his conviction and he's attempting to chase God in a certain way, who am I to say who's better than? If we're both trying to walk this walk, we're both trying to walk this walk. Period. Roddy Rather said, as long as you are hard for God and not lukewarm, then it can work. I agree. I feel like I can't be with somebody lukewarm. I mean, I can, but I would rather be with somebody who's their desire, their hunger is there. Not, you don't have to be where I'm at. You don't have to know what I know. I just need for you to agree. And I think that there's pressure that we put, like, oh, I want a man to lead me. That's, a man can lead if he's submitted himself to God or surrendered himself to God, and he takes into account your spirituality and your gifts. I don't see what the problem is. I don't see what the problem is, personally. So I wanted to make sure that I said that today, was that I don't necessarily feel like it has to be, we just got to be both trying to move in the same direction. That's where I'm at. Donkey, ox. Are you just going to be stubborn and you're not trying to follow God, and you're not necessarily in the same, wanting the same things or chasing after God the way you don't have to necessarily be doing it the same way I'm doing it, but are you seeking God the way I'm seeking God? Are you trying to do it kingdom's way or not? Those are two questions. If you are, then who am I? Dr. Raleigh says there are situations in which the woman met Yeshua first. In that case, she might be more mature spiritually. It's teamwork for a confident man to show himself studied, approved with confidence. Amen, Dr. Raleigh. I agree. I also think that if you know that a woman is further or knows the Bible more, whatever the case may be, that's with any area of your life. If a woman knows more about something, or a man knows more about something, then we default to their wisdom, right? Like, okay, I know, guys on here, I know you might know your wife or your future wife is going to be a prayer warrior. I know that there's certain, I don't look at that as competition. I look at that as an asset. Oh, she know the word. I look at that as an asset, so that I know when I'm making moves in alignment with kingdom, so that my super or God's super is added to my natural. So I'm not going to look at her and her strength spiritually as, oh, I'm not good enough. I'm going to look at it like that's an asset, because there's an area that's important to me that she's good at. And just like there's an area that man might be good at that I'm not. Right? And so we look at it like we can both learn from each other. And by the time we're done with all this, you could be on a whole nother level spiritually. I'm on a whole nother level, a different way. I don't think of it as a difference. I don't think we need to look at it like that. That's just my personal opinion. So I hope that was helpful for somebody. I really do hope that was helpful for somebody, because I want to make sure that I'm clear on that. They say donkey and ox. That's talking about the will of a person. Are they moving towards God, and are you moving towards God? Do we agree on the God that we're going after? Do we agree on the way? Do we agree that we want to move in this direction? Okay, if we're in agreement with those things, then where I am or how long I've been walking versus how long you've been walking, that's pride, that's ego. That's not kingdom. Because I know a God that can turn a Saul into a Paul overnight. I know a God that can turn an Abram into Abraham overnight. I know a God that can turn a Jacob into an Israel overnight. I know that I serve a God that can do things very quickly, rapid acceleration. That's the kind of God we serve. So I don't see that as like, oh, he got to be walking with God for at least 3 years. No. I saw a couple there. The man is preaching. He preaching. She was a Christian, and he became a Christian afterwards. And he went to level 10. I mean, he's not only leading her, he's leading nations. All right. So I don't buy that. I don't buy the whole that, because the spiritual walk is different. You can accelerate, you can move up levels very quickly. And for people who don't know, you move up levels spiritually. There are levels to the spiritual thing. Just like there's levels in video games, levels in careers, there's levels to spirituality. And you accelerate or ascend levels as you grow on this journey. All right. Let's keep it going, guys. So I wanted to say that. So I said the first thing that God starts with is a promise. The second thing is process. All right. This is after you have decided, I want to do this thing with God. I want the things God has shown me. I want this. I want that. You know what I'm saying? I want this and I want that. God is showing me dreams of this destination. He's showing me a promised land I do not see right now. I want that. Now he takes you through process. Okay? And process is not punishment. Process is preparation. All right. So guys, really, if you are, please, I want to see some hearts, some fire in the chat. Please, I need to see people are locked in because this is so important, y'all. We're all going to experience a wilderness season, and I don't want you to fail. So let me see some fire in the chat. Let me see something in the chat to make sure that this is hitting where it needs to hit. I want to make sure that I'm speaking to the things that you guys need me to speak to. Okay. So process. Now there's some things you need to know about a process. So the first thing that you must know about this process, that you know that you're in a wilderness season, is number one, divine isolation. People are falling off. Doors are closing. Opportunities are drying up, not because you did anything wrong, but because God is trying to get you alone so that he can speak to you without distractions. People falling off, doors closing, jobs, and you lost the job, you lost the relationship, you lost the opportunity. Things are, it just seems like doors are closing back to back to back. And you're like, God, what? Like, people are just walking out of my life. I don't understand what's going on. And like, now I'm not able to do things. I've seen people, relationship out of nowhere, gone. Job gone. Friendships gone. And now you're in this place and you're alone. And you don't understand why you're alone. You don't understand why you're in this place. You don't understand why these doors keep closing. God's like, I want you to focus on me. I don't want you to be distracted. And what we try to do is we try to make things happen and make things work. And we're like, okay, well, I'm gonna go get another job. It's not gonna work. I'm gonna go get another relationship. It's not gonna work. I'm gonna go do that. It's not gonna work. None of these things are gonna work because God has said you're chosen and you're called, and I'm not gonna let you mess up this season. I'm not gonna let you mess up this season. And we can prolong our wilderness season by the choices we make in it. The Israelites, they only had to be in the wilderness for a year. Learn this from John Bevere. Shout out to him. They ended up being in the wilderness for 40 years. Why? Because they lost in the wilderness. They lost a test. They did not pass the test. So some of you guys are telling me y'all been in a wilderness season for however many years. And it's like, okay, this is why we're doing this, because sometimes, y'all, we prolong our season. And God will allow us to prolong our season. I don't want you to prolong your season. And here's the thing, not everybody's in this camp. This is why I want you guys to look at this differently. Not everybody's getting sat down like this. Not everybody's being isolated like this. Not everybody's experiencing God saying, listen, I want you to myself, because what I have in store for you, what I have planned for you is bigger. And I need you to hear me and know it's me. I need you to be clear. That's my voice. Because there's going to be things that happen. There's going to be circumstances that you face that you're going to have to know beyond a shadow of a doubt is me. I need you to know. You might have to say no to the deal, and I need you to know it's me. And the deal just seems like, oh, this is out of worldly. This is so amazing. This is this, and this. And you're like so caught up on the opportunity. And you need to be clear that when God gives you that unction, you're like, oh, God is saying no for some reason. I need to walk away from that. Or you're in a relationship, or you're dealing with somebody, or you're starting to date people. You need to be able to have that unction that tells you, no, that's not him. That's not them. Or the unction to know that's them. That's her. That's him. That's who it is. Yep. That's her. All right. So again, you guys, you have to under that's part of the season. The season is, I want you to hear me and know it's me. I don't want there to be any confusion when it comes to your relationship with me. So I've had to shut things down. I've had to separate you. I've had to do all these things because I want you, and I want you to know me. I want you to hear me. I want you to know it's me. And I'm not giving up on you. I'm not giving up on you. I don't care what it looks like. I'm not giving up on you. You're chosen and you're called. Dr. Raleigh, thank you, Dr. Raleigh, for the support. Again, thank you guys for everybody that supports my everything that I do. I appreciate y'all more than you know. It says, bless you. Isolation and solitariness. Holy means separate yourself. Holy means set apart. Thank you, Dr. Raleigh. Holy means set apart. Not everybody is supposed to be a part of this journey. And you'll find that people will fall off in the wilderness, and you're like, oh, thank God they fell off in the wilderness. Sometimes we're trying to hold on to people that God is calling you away from because you got codependency issues, and God's going to remove that. Oh, trust me. If you don't let it go, he gonna make it let you go. Oh, they just broke up with me out of nowhere. They just up and left me out of nowhere. Well, you wasn't going to do it, so I did it for you. You don't even realize what I'm saving you from. Some of y'all are sad about the breakup, sad about the losing the relationship, sad about this separation you're feeling. God's like, one day you're going to thank me, because the person that you're trying to hold on to is going to be the author of your downfall. You're chosen and you're called. I'm not going to let you settle. The process, divine isolation. Number 2, hiddenness. You feel invisible. You're doing the right thing, but no one seems to notice. You're sowing, but not seeing fruit yet. And that's because God hides who he's preparing. Y'all have seen many testimonies of people talking about how they felt hidden. And I'll be honest with you guys, I felt hidden too. Okay? I felt hidden too. It was the first month of my journey, and I had I knew I was in the wilderness season. I had surrendered to it. I wanted the things God was showing me. And the first month was just breaking. I was crying every day. Promise y'all, it was just every day crying. I didn't know what to do, because there was things that God had shown me. I didn't want to be wrong, man. I didn't want to be disappointed. I had been disappointed before. I didn't want to be disappointed again. And so what did I do? I struggled with God. I said, God, if this is not real, if this is not what you want for me, like, please just take it from me. I don't want it. I don't want what you don't want for me. Like, don't just dangle the carrot. Like, if this is not, and I had confused God's character with people's character. And he showed me in this time, no, the people you've met haven't been faithful. I'm always faithful. The people you've met, they've abandoned you. I've never abandoned you. They've forsaken you. I've never forsaken you. The hesitancy was, I had been disappointed so much by people that I had put the way that people had hurt me on God. Like, maybe God's playing with me. Maybe God's mishandling me. Maybe God's misleading me. He's like, I'm not a man that I should lie, nor the son of man that I should change my mind. He's like, I don't mislead. I don't deceive you. You do that to you, and the people you've met do that to you, but I don't do it. So when I say a thing is a thing, it's a thing. When I say you're gonna win, you're gonna win, and that's what it is. If I say this is gonna happen, it's gonna happen. That is God is saying I'm bigger than that. And so I was crying every single day, just doubting, because this is what the enemy does. The enemy does prove it, see it. So as you're not seeing what God is calling you to, you're not seeing the other side of the rainbow. You're not seeing the opportunity. You're not seeing the marriage. You're not seeing this. You're not seeing these things, right? You're not seeing it. And the enemy can play with that because he's like, you're believing for that? Remember last time you were disappointed? You were believing for something before and it didn't happen. Remember? Remember that thing you were asking God about like 4 years ago and it didn't happen? Remember that? Yeah. Yeah. That's why you can't trust God. You can't trust you and you can't trust God. He starts inserting these doubts that get you into questioning what God, God told you. Every time it don't look like it, he just throws the reality of it. And you're like, well, God, don't be cruel, God. If this isn't you, and that's what I'm being so honest. It was me. I'm like, God, if this is not you, take it away. Take the feelings away. Take the desire away. I don't want it. You don't have to play with me. I don't want it. I want you. You don't have to tell me this is my end goal. I would have sought you out anyway. And I realized that was the enemy of our souls, who comes to steal, kill, and destroy. But God comes that you may have life and you may have it more abundantly. I realized that every time I was feeling very strong about my faith and what I was believing God for, the enemy was right there with a doubt, right there with some type of thought about my past, why I wasn't good enough, why I didn't handle this, why it wasn't happening. Listen, I heard it. I heard it. And I struggled every day, crying, upset, because I just didn't know if God was really talking to me. And then God told me at some point, I go to church and I'm at my church service and I'm struggling. This is a time of the month where I'm feeling like God's telling me things and I'm seeing things happen, but it doesn't look the way I thought it would. And the pastor says on the stand, he says that God's process, wilderness, is a preparation ground. And some of us are so committed to the end goal, we're not committed to God. So whether we get it or we don't get it, we give up. Hear me again. Whether we get it or we don't get it, we give up. And so he's like, listen, I'm gonna wait this thing out because I need you to be in this for me. What I later saw was that I was in the relationship in the beginning. I bought in on the promise, not the process. And the process is a faith process. Everything in the kingdom is faith, y'all. Everything in the kingdom is faith. That's the currency of this kingdom. And so as I was going through this process of faith, of not really knowing what's happening, I'm seeing signs, y'all. I'm seeing signs. I mean, I'm experiencing signs and wonders. Pam can tell you, just absolute, this is God. So I'm seeing signs and wonders, but I'm not seeing the manifestation of what I'm believing God for. So at that point of this process, I was about to give up. Because I say, here, listen. God, I don't need this. I'm big on, look. I don't got to do this, God. I really don't. Because y'all was hurting every day. things going happening with my job. I'm being isolated. I'm feeling like God's calling me out of this. God's calling me out of this. God's calling me out of this. And I'm like, okay, God, I get it. I get it. And it's like, God, okay, what else is there to do? And there's nothing happening. And I'm like, okay, God, like, all right, I don't want to do this no more. I don't want to do this no more because it hurts me to want something that I don't see. It hurts me to desire this and I can't touch it. I can't see it. God's like, I'm not going to give you. Literally, I woke up to a number that meant no evidence. God told me I'm not going to have any evidence to back up my belief. That was intentional because everything I had done at that point, up until that point, was about evidence. It was about show and prove. It wasn't about faith. And God's like, I'm building your faith up in this season. I want you to know how real I am, how I can be trusted. And if we think about the story of the Israelites were taken out of Egypt divinely. I mean, divine miracles, signs, and wonders, family, like nonstop, right? They seeing God move. And then they're taken and they see a whole sea part. And as soon as they get to the other side, they start doubting God because they didn't have any water. They didn't have food. And God was like, if I led you to the promised land right away, you would have been eaten. You would have been taken. You wouldn't even made it this far. I can't give you promised land right now. You're not ready to handle promised land right now. I need to build you and develop your character enough so that when you get to the promised land and it doesn't look like it's going to happen, you stand on my word when it doesn't look like it's going to happen. Family, let me tell you something. I failed my wilderness season before. Why? Because as soon as it looked like it wasn't going to happen, I gave up. I didn't fully obey God in that wilderness season. I had my foot in and out. God had told me to stop dating, do this, and I was still talking to somebody and everything like that. And y'all, as soon as it looked like it wasn't going to happen, because I had sowed into something that I felt like I was missing out on, I gave up. I wasn't missing out on anything at all. But the enemy is deceptive. He's deceptive. So I'm saying this from a place, y'all, where I've failed. I've failed my wilderness season. I was given another opportunity, and I was going to steward this one well. Now we can say the prayer of salvation, which is, I don't want to go to the fiery place. Now, I don't want to go to hell. So I'm praying this prayer of salvation just in case you take me overnight and I still make it to the pearly gates. That's salvation prayer. But God says, I'll give you life more abundantly. What is abundant? He's talking about on earth. He's talking to Christians who have already said the salvation prayer. He's saying, listen, the enemy is here to come and steal, kill, and destroy. I have come that you may have life and may have life more abundantly. He's saying, I have made a promise. I've given you a promised land to look forward to, not because I'm trying to harm you, but to give you hope in a future. Process. So I want you guys to know that we can fail our wilderness season. We can fail. We can opt out of our promised land because we want to settle in wildernesses. I talk to people all the time. God's taking too long, so I just get this woman. God's taking too long, so I just get this man. God's taking too long, so I'm just going to take this opportunity that I know isn't God. Because God's taking too long. And God's like, listen, you're not surrendered to my process. I'm testing you to see if you're in this for real for me. Because what I understood in that moment, family, what I didn't understand before, is that I had basically loved God like I had been loved. It was contingent upon what he did for me. Tit for tat. You do this for me, I do it for you. You do it for me, I do it for you. Do it for me, you telling me we're going to get this? Okay, God's like, no, that's not how I work. That's not how I work. You move, I move just like that. That's what God says. You move, then I move just like that. Not I move, you move. You move, I move. God is saying, or told me in that season, that you're in this wilderness season. You can opt out of it if you want to, but you already know where that leads you or has led you in the past. So with that being said, steward this opportunity well. Family, how we fail the promised land is just as important in understanding how to win it. Failing it is giving up. Failing it is going back to the ways that you are being delivered from. Failing it is saying, I'm not going to be patient and wait on you, God. Failing it is saying, I'm not going to surrender the things that you're calling me to surrender. That's what failing is. Winning it is the opposite. How I started to win my wilderness season is this, family, and this is key. I had a conversation with God after my pastor convicted me, because he said on the stage that this is preparation. And some of us, because our commitment to him is revealed in this time, whether we give up when we get it or we don't. If I give up when I get it, that means I wasn't really in it for him. If I give up when I don't get it, I wasn't really in it for him. I was in it for what I wanted. And so God does make it look like you're not going to get it before you get it. Why? Because this process isn't about the thing. This process is not about the thing. The process isn't about the end goal. The process isn't the prize. God is. And if we treat this process like I'm going to do what you want so I can get what I want, God is like, I'm not going to give it to you because I already know that as soon as you get it or you don't get it, you're giving up. So no, I need real buy-in, not buy-in because of what I'm giving you or what you're here to do. I'm here. I am asking for you to buy into me. I'm the prize. The job, the relationship, anything that you get outside of me will not be fulfilling. God is not a genie. He's the God of the universe. He's not dumb. He knows what you're in it for. He sees the desires of your heart. And a lot of us, what we do is we're acting like we're doing what God is doing the right thing, but we forget that God is looking at our heart. He knows what you're doing this for. He knows what you're saying. He knows internally how you're processing. Well, I'm going to read this Bible. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And maybe he's going to do what I want him to do. Maybe he's going to give me the outcome, the income, the relationship that I want if I just keep acting like the way I think he wants me to. MGH says, Sam's a true woman of God. You can tell beyond your beauty, your faith and ministry is fire and joy. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, MGH. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. God is the prize. He's the prize. So once I stop fighting the process, once I stop trying to get to the end goal, and so fixated on whether it was happening or it looked like it was happening or whether it wasn't happening, and I allowed God to be God, I surrendered in the process. My process got easier. It wasn't about the end goal. It became about I am. It became about I am. What do I mean by that? God calls himself I am in Genesis. Identifies himself to Moses when Moses says, who should I tell the people that sent me? He says, tell them I am sent me. I am sent me. I am. He is I am. I am he is. Don't give up in the wilderness season, family. I know it's hard. Don't give up. Because the whole point, as I've been explaining, is that once I got to a place where it was like, I don't matter when it doesn't matter when it happens. It doesn't matter. Like, yes, would I want it to happen sooner? Sure. But once I surrendered the process and I just allowed God to be God, the process got so much easier. Why? Because God started showing me things. As soon as I surrendered, God started showing up in ways I can't imagine. Things, doors that started opening, doors like, y'all, it just became like I started seeing how faithful God is. And that was the point. In the wilderness, God was taking the Israelites out so that they could experience how faithful he is. He fed them every day. Every day they woke up to manna on the ground. Every day they were seeing Moses have this interaction with smoke and fire. They've seen how Moses would come out and he would literally have to cover his face because of the fact that he was having an experience with God. They were seeing miracle signs and wonders. God was like, you've been in Egypt watching these people worship their gods. And now I'm giving you an experience with me that you couldn't get in any other season by isolating you from the variables and forcing you to focus on me. The whole point of the wilderness season was for the Israelites to find and depend on their creator. That was the whole point. Was to find this fountain of living water that never runs dry. That was the whole point. Why we fail our wilderness season is because we then default to old ways, old habits that God is taking us away from because it's taking too long. It looks like it's not going to happen. And we give up. And it bothers me, y'all, because I see people do the law of attraction and all these other things, and they have the same tenets. It's like, believe and keep having faith and doing this and the third, even when it doesn't look like it. People are more likely to do it for the law of attraction and manifestation than they are God. It's easier to believe that a universe is somehow going to bring this together versus a real and living God. I don't understand it. I don't get it. But for some reason, we have this going, millions and millions of people doing it every year. But then there's a God that we serve that is very, very real. And it's hard for us to conceptualize having faith in him for things, but it's easy for us to conceptualize when the universe does. You want to know why, family? Because it seems like we have more control. It's the illusion of control that gets us every time. Same process, different origin. And so, again, that's that. Hiddenness. Like I said, I have watched stories where people say they felt hidden, like they weren't seen, like they were being ignored, or they would go to church and no one's paying attention. It just felt like they were hidden. Maybe hidden from their family. Maybe they feel hidden. Maybe people are reaching out, but they still feel isolated, feel alone, feel like no one's paying attention, feeling like you just get forgotten. wilderness season, God isolates you. I'll tell you guys a story. Beginning of my wilderness season, I was struggling because I really felt like God was telling me something. I struggled with what he was telling me because I didn't see any of it in the natural. I reached out to a woman that I knew, and she started me off in this journey. She instructed me to fast and pray, and she didn't feel in her spirit that what I was being told. Because again, I wanted the accountability. I wanted somebody to tell me whether I was right or I was wrong. And so I reached out to somebody at Wise Counsel, somebody I knew that was further along in the faith, to say, hey, I believe God is telling me this. And how do I know if it's him or not? What do I do? Can you tell me I'm wrong? Can you tell me? Because I've been deceived. I don't want to be deceived again. And so she says nothing in her spirit is telling her that I have been deceived. But she also said to seek God for yourself, fast and pray. So I did. I continued to talk to her, continued to try to keep her involved in the journey. But the messages started going unanswered. The texts started going unanswered, the calls. And then there was a moment where God was like, stop reaching out. It hurt me deeply at first. Because like, why? Like finally, I'm moving in this direction, and now the person that I'm trusting in this season to help me get through it, I thought she was going to walk me through it. She wasn't. She wasn't going to see me through. And it took me realizing that she wasn't meant to. In fact, it took me 2 days to realize that. That as much as I wanted her to help me, she wasn't meant to help me. And y'all, it comes to this place where I realized that God was like, you've been deceived before by people. You've been in cults. You've experienced leaning too much on people to help you with this connection with me. And God had literally isolated me from this person because he wanted me to do it for myself. He wanted me to do it for myself. He wanted me to know his voice for myself. That I had spent a lot of my life believing what people told me and asking for validation and not feeling good enough or smart enough or capable enough to do it for myself. And God had allowed me and ripped me away from that person, not because of punishment, but because of divine intervention. He knew that if I continued to have this relationship with her, I would continue to lean on her for my spiritual growth, lean on her for my connection with God. And he said, no, this is about me and you growing together, not you and her. He was right. Of course he's right. He's God. But I realized that he allowed her to start me off. But he's like, okay, now it's me and you. In fact, at the end of my wilderness season, which is I've gotten to the place of where I'm out of my wilderness season. I'm coming out of my wilderness season. She called me randomly. I mean, literally, it's been months. Called me randomly, say, hey, I apologize. God's been working on me. I've been dealing with some things, And I knew it. I knew at that moment, like, okay, God, you're showing me it's the end of this season. Now I'm allowed this door to open back up. Not for you to lean on it, but because you've developed this relationship with me that's stable and you can hear my voice and you're not depending on people to do it for you. Now I can open the door. But ultimately, family, ultimately, God isolated me not to harm me, but for me to learn how to lean on him, know him, hear his voice. How does he speak to me? And stop relying on other people to be my crutch, to be the voice for me to God. No, he wanted me. So what I thought was once punishment was breaking, but breaking to build, breaking to renovate, breaking to restore. So again, hiddenness, you feel invisible. Number 3, cycles keep repeating. You feel stuck in a loop. Same issues, different day. That's not punishment, it's preparation. God allows the repeat until you finally respond differently. Family, this third one is very important. I want you to hear me very clearly. I kept struggling. My mental warfare was definitely doubt. I still struggle with doubt. Doubt was the enemy. As soon as God would give me a word and I knew it was him, the enemy would come in like a flood and try to steal the word, right? So I'm like, y'all, I'm literally having this crying fit, this God give me a sign, this confirmation. I had kind of gotten addicted to the miracle signs and wonders. I ain't gonna lie. I started seeing them all the time. I was seeing God move in miraculous ways to show and prove that he is with me, y'all. And I have so many miracles I've literally written down. I think I'm about like 72 or it's got to be in the 70s now. It's got to be 70 something. I've seen so many miracle signs and wonders. And at some point, God was like, I need you to stand in the promise. Stand in the promise. You over here going back and forth. And all the time, I've given you more signs than most that you're watching here. I'm like, well, you're right. When you right, you right. Started rebuking me for asking for more and more signs. And I'm like, okay, God, you know what? You right. It's me. I'm doubting. Because I've been wrong before. And the enemy was using how wrong I've been to keep me stuck, family. He was like every time just coming at me like, and that's what he would use. He would use doubt. He would insert doubt. I would just, God would tell me something that I would, well, maybe that wasn't God. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this isn't it. Maybe this, maybe that, maybe that, what if this, what if that, like literally, I just literally kept struggling with doubt. Doubt was the thing. And what would happen is God would continue to allow me to be tempted to doubt in order to test me for faith, right? So at some point, God was like, I'm not going to keep saying this. How many signs do you need, beloved? I've given you so many signs. In the Bible, a thing was confirmed with 2 or 3 witnesses. Your girl was on at the time, maybe Pam could probably speak, probably at 40. I had seen people believe and were so confident about their belief with less. And so I'm like, okay, God, maybe it's me. I don't know. It's me. Clearly, it's me. I'm the problem. But because I had a core wound I hadn't dealt with, that core wound kept coming up. That little Sam that was so afraid of being disappointed because of my childhood experiences, it kept coming up, family. The little girl was like, well, how do you know? What if this happens? What if that happens? What if that? I'm like, oh, Lord Jesus. Oh, God. This is tough. This is tough. Sam can't do this. So, anyway, it wasn't until I started learning how to fight those doubts that those doubts became less and less destructive. They took less and less time for me to get over my spinning in doubt. Because it was a spin. I mean, it would be one thought, and by the time I got to the last thought, I'm sitting here crying, screaming in a car asking God to intervene, and he always did with his graciousness and his goodness. I'll tell you guys a story, y'all family. This is really, y'all pay attention to this. I was at church, felt like God was calling me to sit in a service with my daughter, but I had invited somebody to come to church with me that Sunday, and I was waiting on them. That was the only other seat that they had. It was a particularly packed Sunday. So I'm waiting, and the person, as I feel like God is prompting me to take my daughter to go to church, and some people are going to ask me, what does God's voice sound like? God's voice don't sound like you, and God's voice don't sound like the enemy. That's a lot of the ways. Sometimes the process of elimination. The enemy's voice is going to condemn you. It's going to cause you to shame. It's going to cause you to guilt. It's going to cause you to fear. You're going to feel rushed. You're going to feel pressured. You're going to feel less than. You're going to feel it's going to cause confusion. That's how you know it's the enemy's voice. God's voice comes with clarity, peace. It's sure. It's not wordy. It's not. He doesn't overspeak. He says just enough to get you through the moment. No. Yes. Keep going. Give them this. He doesn't over-explain. That's us. We over-explain. We over-rationalize. Okay? And my voice is pride, ego, going to protect me. So that means I'm going to say things to protect me. Do things in my own self-interest. Sometimes somebody said the enemy's voice is negative. No, the enemy's voice can be prideful. Oh yeah, look, you about to get them. Oh yeah, they was looking at you the one way. Ha ha. Watch what happens next. Blah blah blah. So there's people that come on this platform and they're speaking as God's mouthpiece, but every message is, oh, they gonna be sorry. Oh, they gonna come back. Oh, they gonna come begging back because you're the best thing that ever happened. That's not God. God's voice is not prideful, family. That's ego. That's pride. Yeah, it's popular because we want to believe that, you know, we that deal and we that thing. But that's not God. So anyway, y'all, that's how. So I'm sitting in the service. I know God is telling me to keep my daughter in. And again, it was a still small, it's a voice that sounds like yours. It's a thought that comes into your head that sounds like your voice, but it's more sure, it's more clear, and it comes with peace. It has like it is not. Some people have heard the audible voice of God. I haven't heard the audible voice of God. When God prompts me, it's something like I know that I wouldn't think. For example, somebody that I don't know, hey, give this person $500. Now, Sam didn't think that thought because Sam done just paid her bills. Sam is trying to hold on to whatever money she had. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, $500? $500? I know the enemy didn't say that. Because I'm saying to myself, I'm trying to protect myself. I'm trying to keep what I got. But because I know that's God's voice, because God is calling me to walk in faith, step in faith. Hey, I know where you are at financially, actually. Give it. Generosity is a weapon, family. I want you guys to know that. I've learned this. Generosity is a weapon, an underutilized weapon. If God is calling you to give. I'm speaking, y'all. I've seen it. I've seen me give money, and I've seen when God prompts me to do it, not because somebody's asking, but because God has prompted me to do it. Double every time. Every time I get it back double. Every single time I give, I get it back double. If he prompts me to do it, I do it. I don't. And why is it a weapon? Because it says money don't have power over me. Some of us don't give because, we're counting the cost. If God is calling you to give. Somebody said in the chat, I can attest to that too. Exactly. When God calls you to give. Don't hold back. No, because you're holding yourself back. Generosity is a weapon. It's a weapon. Use it. Because if he's prompting you, y'all, there's too many stories I can give, but Anyway, back to what I'm saying. He is faithful. Not you give it out of because your family asked and you don't like saying no. Not because this person asked and you don't want to make them upset. No, God gives you a prompting to give. Give. Test God. Watch God. Y'all, the times I've given, like I said, God has given me double back every single time. All right, back to what I'm saying. So, I go into the service. I feel God is telling me to bring Soraya in. I'm saying I don't necessarily want to bring her in because I truly believe my baby gonna act up. But I'm like, maybe God wants her in the service for a reason. So this person doesn't show up. We have an extra seat. I'm able to take her into service. So that was a divine, for me, that was like, okay, God's confirming his word. Another thing y'all must know, God confirms his word. He's not one that he doesn't waste words, and he confirms words. He does confirm it. Now, at some point, like if you ask him for confirmation and he done told you a million times and you just not doing it because you're doubting, at some point he gonna rebuke you. At some point he gonna say, okay, so when are you gonna have faith? When are you gonna move the way I've told you to move? Every time I've given, family, even with Pam knows, it was at a time, if I send her a message or a financial whatever, Pam's like, it was at the time I needed you to do it. Like, don't do that, because every time you've done that for me, it meant something to me. So I'm like, okay. And I've had other people say, I have too many stories. I have too many stories. I'm not going to get into them. But trust God. Don't let money have more power over you than you have over it. That's how he tests you. Who are you going to be more faithful to, your money or me? Because I can take that money away tomorrow. I can take it all away tomorrow. Right? So anyway, family. Service ends. I don't know why Soraya was there the whole time. I'm like, y'all, like, why is Soraya in the service with me? Like, I still don't understand it. Well, as I'm walking out, somebody says altar call. I don't ever go to altar call. And so to me, I'm actually surprised that they asked me to go to altar call, because your girl don't ever go. So I'm like, okay, no, I'm good. But something inside me says turn back. You do need prayer. You do need divine deliverance. Beloved. I'm like, okay, fine. So I turn back. There's a woman that's been standing out to me in the service, I kid you not, for the last month. There's a woman that, like, literally I've seen her. And I'm saying to myself, okay, God, I'm going to her. Because she's been highlighted to me. I've noticed her from the corner of my eye. I go to her, she starts praying over me. And I just say, I'm just struggling with faith because I don't see it. And I feel like at this point, God's upset with me because I've been asking for too many signs. And I'm just telling, I'm keeping it very general. Another thing, another pro tip in this walk, y'all, is when you're dealing with prophetic giftings and things like that, don't overshare. Let God share. Okay. Some of us tell on ourselves and we're like, how did you know that? And it's like, you told them 5 minutes ago, but you forgot. You gave them so much information that now they can tell you. Don't help the prophet. Let the prophet be the prophet. Let them show you it's God. Let them show you that they're hearing a word from God. So I've learned this in my time. So I'm like, okay, I'm not giving no, I'm keeping it very general, because your girl ain't going to get God twice. Okay. So as we're done, she's like, she mentions the one thing that I'm struggling with, y'all. The one thing she says, I'm hearing this in my head very loud, blah, 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 blah. I break down because it was the one thing that there's things that I'm believing God for and I can kind of see it. But there is a one thing that I'm like, I don't know. It would be nice, but I don't know. God. I don't know. So when she says the one thing, and then she says, God is asking me or telling me how many signs he got to give you. How many more signs does he have to give you? Y'all, I promise you, if I could have laid out right then and there, I could have. Flesh and blood didn't tell you that. That was Holy Spirit. And so we started talking and she started telling me more and more and more. And I'm like, oh, this is God. This is God. This is God. I couldn't believe she's telling me my life. She is telling me where I'm at, what God is doing, everything that God has been speaking to me in the private place. She is literally telling me. I am flabbergasted. Flabbergasted is the word. Flabbergasted. I was like, oh! How did you know? How? I've told no one. And I knew that was God. I knew it was God. All right. So again, you guys, God confirms his word. And in this wilderness season, you know, there was that particular situation from that point on, when she told me that and she said, how many more signs? I said, okay, God, I got it. And so he was going to continue to have me take this test until I passed it. He was not going, I couldn't move forward in my process until I learned how to manage doubt responsibly. And that was because of my control issues, my anxiety. It was hard, and it is hard for me to believe in something I cannot see, or believe for something I cannot see. But I keep on reflecting on the many signs and wonders, miracle signs and wonders that God has done in this season. I just reflect on those things. And I'm like, okay, God, it's you. It's you. I know it's you. Right? So number 4 is, this is a big one, family. Hear me out, please. Put a pin in this. Put a pin in this, my family. Ooh, this hurts, but it's true. Yikes. This is one of the ones. It is unmet desires that won't die. Unmet desires that just won't die. Now, you don't try to suppress it. You don't try to distract it. You don't try to do everything you possibly could do to not focus on these desires. It just doesn't look like it. It doesn't look like it. It doesn't look like it. But these desires, I don't care if you fast it away, pray it away, rebuke it away, bind it away. I don't care if you go through 5, 10 years. This desire will not die. Oh, child, that's the one. That is the one. It's the unmet desires that cannot die. Let me get into it. It says, you keep trying to bury that dream, but it won't stay buried. God didn't let it die because it's part of your assignment, but he won't give it to you until you're ready to carry it with character. Come through. God will not allow, listen, he's not going to let you enter that door until the only way you enter a door that God has introduced you to is God. And what we try to do is do it in our own strength. And God's like, nope, and no. Nope, you're going to try it again. And no. It's not going to happen that way. It ain't going to happen. 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 Oh, it's not going to happen. What? It's not going to happen. Why? Because you keep trying to do it your way. You keep trying to do it your way. You default into your old ways to get things done. And God's like, listen, the only way you get through this door is with me. You don't get to this God dream without me. Now, you can keep trying it your way if you want to. Okay. Have at it. Have at it, king. Have at it, queen. But I'm going to keep saying no. And it's no. Oh, it's really no. It's really no. Okay. Yeah, it's really no. Okay, it's no. No, no. Oh, it's really no. Give me an N. Give me a O. And it's not gonna happen. Oh no, it's not gonna happen. You're not passing. You can't get through. The only way you get to God's promises is with God. He ain't gonna let you do it. You're not gonna get it no other way. Do whatever you want. Try it. Do it. He's like, you're not gonna, I gave you that dream. I gave you that dream. I did. I did. But you're trying to do it your way, on your terms, and that ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna work. It's unmet desires, y'all. And this is a big one, because God doesn't give us, he doesn't promise us things we don't desire. They're always going to be a desire we've had. It's a desire we can't understand. We're like, God, why do I keep wanting this? I be trying to go here, but you don't let me go here. Like, I'm still looking there. I'm like, but I'm trying, but I can't stop. And God's like, it's just not going. It's not going to happen. It's true. Said God hits with a skirt. Skirt. Nope, not gonna happen. It's really no. It's really no. They said it's no. It's really no. No, it's no. God is not going to let you go through that, because why? You cannot carry it with character. And if you're trying to access a God dream, you need him to do it. And he's not going to let you do it because he's a good God. He understands that if he allows you to get to that role or to get to that dream without the proper preparation, without surrender. Family, part of this big thing is like a surrendering. There's a I'm going to put it all away. I don't care what you ask me to give up. I'm going to give up. I don't care what it looks like to other people. I'm going to do it. I don't care. I don't care. I'm surrendered. I want what you want for me. I do see these desires and I want it too. And I'm tired of getting in my own way. That's the only thing God responds to, is for you to say, listen, I'm done. I'm done trying to do it my way. I'm actually tired. There's so much power. There's so much power in just saying, God, like, it's yours. I'm not going to keep. The relationship is yours. The job is yours. The dream is yours. I'm not going to keep trying to do it my own way. I'm tired. I'm tired. God's like, well, finally, let's get somewhere. Let's finally get somewhere, but you've got to do it my way. Family, the number one reason why people don't get out of their promised land or get to their promised land is because they give up, or they're unwilling to give up. They're unwilling to give up. They're unwilling to give up their way. We're not giving up on the dream. We're not giving up on the promise. We're not giving up on the desire. What we are giving up on is us defaulting to our ways to make it happen. We then say, God, I surrender it all. You ask me, you want me to make a left? I'm going to make a left. You want me to make a right? And y'all, part of the lefts and rights I had to make in this season, y'all, it was like my ego my ego was eking. My ego was like, girl, you would never. And you're like, you are absolutely right. I would never. But God is like, no, in this season you will. Like, I had to put my pride to the side, my ego to the side, all these things I had, because I understand now what I didn't know months ago. What I didn't know is that God is not going to lead you or have you do anything to compromise you. He's not going to lead you to places to destroy you. That's not the heart he has. He loves you. So if he's asking you to do it, do it. If he's asking you to reach out, reach out. If he's asking you to pursue it, pursue it. If he's asking you to make a left, make a left. If he's asking you to make a right, make a right. He's not leading you down a path to hurt you or to harm you. And even if it doesn't manifest right away, even if doesn't come about the way you thought it would, right? You're sowing a seed, and that seed is going to grow. I've learned that even in the moments where I'm questioning God, I'm doubting God, I'm wondering why did you have me do this? Why did you have me do that? I understand his ways are not my ways. His thoughts are not my thoughts. When he asked me to give more than I'm comfortable giving, or do more than what I'm comfortable doing, I know that ultimately it is for my good. It is working for me anyway. I trust him now in a way I haven't. Why? Because I've seen how faithful he is. I've seen him show up for the bill. I've seen him do the promotion. I've seen him do these miraculous things of healing and all. I've seen him talk to me every night, tell me a different thing, and I see it manifest in the morning. I've seen God be faithful. That's why I can do it. That's why I can sit here on a live, on a TikTok, and on YouTube, and I can tell you how faithful my God is. I've seen it with my own eyes. I was allowing my core wounds to really take me off my path. I have a core wound of injustice, and my core wound of injustice speaks very loud. It doesn't allow me to not be in control. And a part of this whole process is me, like, really, y'all, putting down my identity. Can we be real today? My identity has always been tied to what I look like. That's how I was raised. God in this season is calling me to get away from these things I've done for a while. This just been me. This is who I am. God's like, no, that's not who you are. That's not who you are. You're more than that. You're more than that. Way more than that. You've worn this label of what society's put on you. No, 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 no. You're more than that. I've promotions that I was, just different things I was doing, different things. Like God was like, put it down, put it down, put it down, put it down. Not because I don't love it. Do it this way, do it that way. Be more conservative. Be more aware of what you're doing, how you're doing it. Be aware. Stop doing this, stop doing that. And I'm like, wow, like God. And he's gracious because he does it little by little. But somebody said, how did I know that I was coming out of my wilderness season? I kept seeing signs. I knew. The signs were there. I knew I was coming out. But I had to get to such a place of like hunger for him and not the outcome. That if he was going to tell me to stop doing, like, stop posting that, stop doing this, stop promoting for this, and I'm like, okay, God, this is a lot. I don't want to stop doing these things. But if you're telling me to, I will. Even if I don't want to. And it's been hard. But y'all, I'll tell you right now, everything I've given up for him, I've gotten back greater. Everything I've given up for God has all been worth it. Every single sacrifice, every time I had to put my pride to the side, every time I had to chase after things and I didn't want to chase after it, or put aside things I didn't want to put aside. There's a peace that surpasses all understanding. I cannot believe there's a correct connection with my creator that I wouldn't trade for the world. If I lost everything and I had him, I know I still had everything. I realized in this wilderness season how broken I was, how much I put my identity in my physical, what I look like. I'd be more aware of those things because I wasn't raised that way. Yes, I take care of myself still, but I don't put it out there like I did before. And that was because I really feel like God called me out of that. Mind you, I was not raised that way. I'm more, just so many different things where it's really just about God just saying little baby yeses. And those little baby yeses become big yeses. But he processes you through this wilderness season. And as I was coming out, it really wasn't about me being perfect because I'm not perfect. It really came about because he knew at this point I was going to be obedient. I was going to be obedient. Even if it meant I was going to put something to the side or do, like, even if it meant me being uncomfortable or me not being, uncomfortable. Or even if it was something I didn't want to do, I didn't like. Because even in the things he called me to do that I didn't want to do, if I knew he was calling me to do it, I had peace about it. That's just the reality. Like every time he called me to do something and I did it and that was what he wanted, I had peace about it. Even if I didn't want to do it, I had peace about it. Once I did it, I'm like, ooh, sheesh. Yeah. Like immediately. Of course, the enemy would try to steal the seed of that moment of peace, but I had peace. That's a hallmark of God's presence and God's divine instruction is peace. Is peace. So family, I'm not going to belabor the point. Number one sign you're in a wilderness season is that you have entered into a process where you felt four things. Four things are divine isolation, hiddenness, cycles keep repeating, unmet desires that won't die. And last but not least, God is silent but your spirit is unsettled. You're not hearing him the way you used to, but something in you knows he's near. That discomfort, that divine content, that's not the enemy. It's God saying, I'm testing what you really believe about me when I'm not performing for you. Wilderness is not the absence of God. It's the development of trust. I hope I'm not like popping off the screen on here. Not the absence of God. It's the development of trust. It's saying, do you trust me? Do you really trust me? And the wilderness season is him saying, I need you to trust me. And we can prolong our wilderness season, family. We can stay in it longer. Don't do it. Get it right the first time. Don't make the mistake I made. I prolonged my wilderness season. Don't prolong your wilderness season. Be obedient. The key to this is being obedient. Be obedient. Be obedient. Listen to that voice. Start to hear his voice, understand his voice. And when you hear his voice and you know it's him and you've done the test, like, okay, that don't sound like me for sure. And then you test the motivations of your heart. Why would I want this? And if it's not you, And it's not the enemy that's condemning, confusing, causing you to be prideful. Negative emotions, guilt, shame, pressure, all these things. That's the enemy. Causes you to spin like this. That's the enemy shaming you with your past mistakes. The enemy. If it's God prompting you to do something, do it. Don't delay. The more surrendered and obedient you are, the faster this season goes. The less obedient, the less quick to obey you are, the more likely you are to find excuses instead of finding ways to make what he's asked you to do happen. You're going to prolong your season. Do not prolong your wilderness season. Walk in faith, walk in wisdom. Be obedient, quick obedience. And enjoy the process. Enjoy the process of getting to know your Creator in this way. That he's not just a God you read about, it's now a God you've experienced. Be obedient. Be faithful. That's how you win. Learn the lesson. Let him heal you. Let him break these things off of you. They don't serve you well anyway. The people he takes you from, you're going to be reconnected when you get to a place of healing, or you're not. And both are for your good. Both are for your good. Do not delay. Be obedient. Be obedient, family. It's worth it. Promised land is worth it. That dream that won't go anywhere, it's worth it. It's worth it. It's worth it. Be obedient. Enjoy the process of getting to know God in a different way. In a way that few get to experience him. Enjoy this process. All right? Oh, thank you, Rain. All right, family. I love you guys very much. I hope this has been more of a blessing to you. I will be going live again. I'm not really sure if I'll be able to go live again this week. But I want to go live, and I do want to talk more about whether men lead or women lead. I'm gonna talk more about that because I think it's a really good question. I answered it earlier whether I feel like a man needs to lead or a woman needs to lead as far as spiritually. A man asked a question about whether the woman he's dealing with or interested in is further along than him. What should he do? And I had an answer, but I'm going to answer that more in depth on a future live. Okay? Because again, I don't believe that that's necessarily the case. I think that if two are walking in the same direction and both are on fire for, want to do God's will, they're both not lukewarm, they're both on fire. I don't see that being a problem. If both are being willing to be obedient, then I don't see that being a problem. So, CJ Ward, thank you so much for your contribution. I want to make sure I thank everybody on the live. Dr. Raleigh, MJH, STYL, YouTube user, thank you so much. The kings and queens, I appreciate you. CJ Ward, I appreciate you. Thank you guys for joining me tonight on this live. I do not take it lightly. I do not take it lightly at all that you take this time with me during the week. You don't have to do this, but you guys decided to do it anyway. So thank you guys. I love y'all, and I will see you guys very soon, okay? Love y'all. Have a good night.